Welcome everybody to what I am calling the noob's very first Sonic Month. Throughout the month of March, I'm going to be releasing multiple videos all about Sonic the Hedgehog. Now I know what you're thinking. Me releasing multiple videos in a single month? That's impossible for you to do. And you know what? You're probably right. But let's give it a go. Maybe cross our fingers. Maybe it'll work out. So, why Sonic the Hedgehog specifically? Because I love Sonic. It's one of my favorite franchises, and some of my favorite games from my childhood are actually Sonic games. In fact, the first video game that I ever bought for myself as a kid was a Sonic game. And I loved it. And ever since then, I have loved the entire franchise. Most of the franchise. Most of the franchise has just been fun. Some of it has been phenomenal. Some of it's been good. Mostly the early stuff. Okay, so maybe the Sonic series has seen better days. It's had its very large, fair share of crap, but that just makes it even better to do videos on. I appreciate the good ones, and I can totally make fun of the bad ones. But today, we're going to be talking about the original two games, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Not 3. But there's a reason for that. My thoughts on the two originals? They're great. They have tight controls, amazing graphics, amazing music, and level design that feels fast and fun. The thing people seem to always forget about Sonic games, though, is that it's not all about running through loops and jumping over chasms. Sometimes you do have to stop, slow down, and do some tight platforming. It is a platformer after all. But if the level design is good, then it finds a good balance between fast running sections and slower platforming segments. And a good Sonic game designs these segments so that you could get through them quickly without slowing down too much if you've practiced enough at the level. Sonic 1 is not perfect though. There are a few slower segments that do feel tedious and, the water level. Labyrinth Zone. I am such a huge friggin' moron for putting Hydro City on that stupid water levels list that I did. What the hell was I thinking? It's not even that bad of a level. This one, though, it borderline ruins the game. It is so slow and it is so goddamn tedious. But moving on, my thoughts on Sonic 2, it's even better. Better sense of speed, better graphics, better music, overall better level design. The water level is even more tolerable. Until you get to this part, but whatever. It's a great game overall. They even added in a terrible two-player mode. It does everything that a sequel should do. And they added the spin dash. Holy crap, it is kind of amazing how much a simple gameplay mechanic can add to a game. It made the franchise infinitely better and more fun. But, surprise, surprise, this episode's not actually about those games. No. What we're going to be talking about today are these games, the Sega Master System version of the first two Sonic games. For those of you who don't know what that is, it was Sega's console before the Sega Genesis. It was an 8-bit console, basically Sega's NES. So when Sega originally made Sonic 1 and 2, they decided to put them on the Master System as well. And they're actually not ports. They have entirely new levels. Hey kids, are you tired of the amazing sense of speed and crisp graphics from Sonic? Blast processing got you down? Looking for a slower, uglier, and slightly clunkier version of Sonic? Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega Master System. Now you're playing with Wait, no, that's not our slogan. That one's better. And no, they never actually made an 8-bit version of Sonic 3. Oh, but if you wanted my opinion of that game, then it's great. It's by far the best of the original trilogy, even without the Sonic & Knuckles expansion. But that just makes it even better. But anyways, let's get on with the review. Right off the bat whoa. Okay, I ended up running so fast that I zoomed through the entire first level off screen. That is weird. That never happens again throughout the entire game, by the way. Just here. Just odd. Anyway. Right off the bat, I gotta say, the game doesn't look terrible. I mean, compared to the original 16-bit version, it looks like crap, but I mean, for an 8-bit game, it looks pretty damn good. The general gameplay is the same idea. You're Sonic, and you run pretty fast, you jump on enemies to kill them, and defeat Robotnik/Eggman's bosses to progress. The main difference here is that you're definitely slower in this version than in the Genesis one, which makes sense. And there actually aren't any loops for Sonic to run through in this game, which, you know what, no, deal breaker, I'm out. I'm just kidding. It doesn't really affect the game much, and sacrifices had to be made. In level 2, however, it starts to become pretty obvious that this game does not balance the slow with the fast very well. The sense of speed is still there, but it would be pretty hard to run through some of these levels quickly without slowing down. Sometimes it might even be impossible. And as the game goes on, the platforming gets kind of ridiculous. I mean, really difficult and very not Sonic. I will say though that the jungle level looks great. Best looking level in the game. I'm kind of amazed at how good they got that water to look on an 8-bit console. But too bad the level itself isn't very much fun. And what the hell is this? An auto-scrolling Sonic level? Who thought that this would be a good idea? An auto-scrolling Sonic level that literally means that you can't run fast. What the hell? In true Sonic fashion, the third act in every level is a boss battle. But in true jerk-face fashion, they never actually give you any rings for these battles. None at all. You have to beat the bosses of the game without getting hit a single time, which makes some of these mostly not too difficult bosses pretty annoying and difficult. Pointlessly so. And hey, what's better than a water level? A maze. Filled with water. Labyrinth. Zone. Labyrinth Zone. God, I hate Labyrinth Zone. God, this level is really bad. Much worse than the Genesis version. And oh god, the frame rate. The game slows down from time to time, especially on this level, and the frame rate gets cut in half. Now, this isn't completely unfounded for 8-bit consoles, the NES actually did this a lot, but for some reason it just bothers me more here. I think maybe it's because it's a Sonic game, so a smooth frame rate actually feels kind of necessary, but on top of that, it's kind of just the icing on the cake for it to happen so much on this level. In the 16-bit version, you feel slow in the water, but the moment that you get out of the water, you feel free. You feel fast. But in this game, the moment you get out of the water is when you realize that the frame rate's been affected by it, and you're still slow until you get further away from the water. It's bad. It's a bad level, that's really all I can say. You find Chaos Emeralds hidden in the levels of this game instead of in special stages. Not sure if I like this change though. It kind of encourages exploration of the levels, but I don't know, these games aren't really about exploration, they're supposed to feel fast. I don't know. Looking at the whole game, it's pretty obvious that they had to lower the speed down from the original versions because now it's 8-bit. But the first level seemed fine. I mean, it wasn't as fast as the original version, that's for sure, but it felt nice running from beginning to end. So it kind of actually perplexes me why they made so many of the later levels so slow. Like, really slow. You really have to take your time. Overall, the game's okay. It has its moments of fun and fast platforming. But the water level is the worst. Okay, moving on to Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is pretty much more of the same, except for where you expect to be able to spin dash and also play as Tails, you can't play as Tails. Or spin dash. The Master System version came out actually earlier than the Genesis one did, apparently, and because of that, I guess they just hadn't come up with the spin dash mechanic yet? Either that or the 8-bit Master System just couldn't handle the epic awesomeness of the spin dash ability. Okay, this is more like it. It's fast, it's fun, I like this. Hopefully this isn't just another fake out though, where the first level is really fun and then the rest of them are slow and tedious. Actually, no. I mean, it's still slower than the Genesis and it isn't perfect, but on average, it keeps the speed and fun more than the last one. Okay, this is funny. In Act 3 of the first level, you go to make this jump and it's actually too far. It's an impossible jump that you can't make. But right before falling into the lava and dying, Eggman saves you. Huh. I'll be honest, I really don't get his strategy. I guess he just wants me to die by his hands? I mean, it wouldn't be right if he just let the lava get rid of me. No. He has to do it himself. This game actually has an exclusive feature that wasn't in the original version, a glider. In theory, it works like the Cape Feather from Mario World, but it doesn't really work too well. Either that or I just don't really get it. But whatever, it's not really used very much, and it's not bad in any way, it's just kind of eh. Okay, this level is overall annoying. It's impossible to tell what's a platform and what isn't a platform because it's just clouds. There's just clouds everywhere. You look at this right now and tell me where I'm able to stand. And, okay, I highly doubt that Eggman built a robot bird that could actually lay eggs. If he had, then what would even be the point? Just leave it as a regular bird, you weirdo. So the graphics are once again pretty damn good for 8-bit. And I absolutely love Sonic's idle animation. I don't even get it. In other games, he tends to have some Sonic attitude, but in this one, he's kind of just like, hey, I don't know. Why you? I don't know. Why you looking at me? I don't know anything. I'm stupid. I don't know. It cracks me up. Oh my god, a loop. That's right, everyone. For the sequel, they decided to go above and beyond and add this loop. There's only a few of them in the entire game as well, so it's actually just kind of hilarious that they even bothered. And I'm stuck. I got stuck on the loop. It's a glitch, and I can't move at all. I'm stuck here. And so I had to restart the system. That's a bummer. Oh hey, look over there, it's a bad water level. At first I actually kind of liked this level because it was trying something new, but god, it's annoying. I keep dying constantly from not being able to find air bubbles. I can't find any goddamn air bubbles. And then it suddenly turns into the opposite, where there's air bubbles everywhere and you have to ride these bubbles around, which move really slowly and pop randomly. Which means that on top of being a terrible level already, where you run slow and get hit and die from suffocation, you also have to do a lot of waiting. This is riveting. So fun. And fast! Okay, gotta vent for a second. I keep wanting to say that this game has really good controls, that they're tight and responsive and that they feel nice, and, you know, that's all true. It's programmed very well. But this controller is the worst. It suffers from the same general problems that the Genesis one did. You may remember that a few episodes back I complained and ranted about the Sega Genesis controller. In case you didn't see that episode, I don't like it. I don't like the placement of the 3 buttons, and I find the D-pad very imprecise when compared to any Nintendo controller. But this D-pad seems even worse. I don't know if it's just my controller, but I don't think so. Sonic is constantly rolling into a ball when I didn't want him to because the D-pad thought that I had pressed down when I actually pressed right or left. And this has even gotten me killed a few times. It is a real shame. The Master System was definitely a poor man's NES. Take the pause button, for instance. It's not on the controller, it's on the console itself. And it doesn't even do anything for these games. I couldn't pause the game. I had to go to the washroom at one point, and so I had to just find a level where I could idle somewhere and not get killed by enemies. I haven't really talked about the music yet, have I? Well, it's good. Some of the levels have pretty decent music, and actually a few of the levels have really good music. In fact, I bet you didn't know that the theme song for the European and Japanese versions of Sonic CD was originally the Green Hill theme from this game. It was really weird and surprising to just suddenly hear the song here, and it's probably the best song in the game. Speaking of the Green Hill Zone, the lead up to the Green Hill Zone boss is a series of long jumps off of springs over a bunch of spikes. You can't really see what's below you, so half of it is just luck. And it's really unforgiving, since once again, you get no rings! Oh yes, don't worry, they carried over that amazing feature from the last game. You still get no rings for boss battles. And with that, I think I've played enough. It's not like I was going to be getting the good ending anyway. But mostly, I just can't be spending super long practicing on these levels just so that I can play 3 more. I have an entire month of videos ahead of me to get working on. As for the final verdict, they're actually okay. Just okay. They're not as good as the Genesis versions, but they look good, they sound good, and they control well. For the most part. I mean, the controller is crap, but if you're emulating it or something, then that's not really going to be a problem. The big problem here is the level design. They obviously tried because some of the levels are actually pretty fun. Even a few of the really slow ones can be pretty fun. But there are quite a few annoying parts and levels that keep me from saying that these games are fantastic. You should really just play the Genesis versions, but if you're a huge Sonic fan like me, and you've never played these versions before, then I say give them a try. You'll probably have some fun. Honestly, I'm actually kind of surprised. I actually expected these games to be a lot worse than they actually were. But Don't you worry about that, because I still have 3 videos planned for Sonic Month. Whether I actually get them done on time, I'm not completely certain. But whatever, they're planned. So, look forward to it, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and I'm not playing Sonic 06. Just thought I'd break that to you. I'm not playing Sonic 06 this month. Sorry to disappoint you, but it's for later down the line. I have a plan. It'll happen. Just back to credits!